Welcome to HPLIFE module, Basics of Finance, where we will explore some alternatives in managing your costs. We will use the different types of costs in the case study, where Mariam wants to start her own business, making and selling bags. The different types of costs that you find in a business can be classified into three main groups, namely startup costs, fixed costs, and variable costs. Startup costs are incurred during the beginning and are one-time expenses, for example, buying machinery. Fixed costs recur every month, stay the same, and are often regulated by an agreement, for example, office rent. Variable costs changes depending on the number of items you produce or sell, for example, fabrics used in making bags. Each type of cost is needed, but as a rule, it is best to minimize startup and fixed costs and to maximize variable costs. Starting with startup costs, we will discuss possible alternatives to consider to reduce the lump sum or capital required immediately. If managed well, this can reduce the loan required to start your business and, in turn, reduce the fixed amount, including interest, for the monthly repayment. Things to consider when buying assets or machinery, for example, the sewing machine. Do research via the internet on various suppliers to ensure you know the relevant price for the functionality it requires. Does the supplier offer a payment plan, for example, rental or lease? Watch out for the interest and the impact on your fixed costs and penalties if you want to cancel the agreement early. As a startup, you need to ask, do I need a new machine or will second-hand do? Is a second-hand machine available at an auction? Buy what you need and allow for some growth, but always consider quality versus functionality versus price. Another example is alternatives to consider when incurring legal fees. Will you use a specialist lawyer or a generalist? Is there a free or reduced cost legal aid at a university or college near you? Make use of standard agreements on the internet from reputable organizations. For example, employee contracts may be available from a government Department of Labor. In summary, do research to find alternatives. Each alternative has its pros and cons. Find what is right for your situation. Let us have a look at fixed cost. The aim is to minimize the fixed cost and change it to variable, so you only spend in relation to the items you make or sell. Looking at the list of fixed costs in your case study, the following must be considered. Eliminate duplication of cost. Do you really need a cell phone and an office phone? Is the item essential or a nice to have at this stage of the business? Must you attend a conference or can you do your research online? Reduce the fixed costs by looking out for specials or use a bank which provides low-cost accounts for small businesses, thereby reducing your monthly bank charges. Convert from fixed to variable. On your cell phone, do you need a fixed number of talk time units, or does it work better to have a variable contract? There is a price implication. However, in the beginning, regular available cash will most likely be a challenge. And lastly, we need to consider the wages of the owner. The key is to adjust your lifestyle to your income and not your income to your lifestyle. It very much falls into the above point of, is it essential or nice to have? Variable costs have many permutations depending on the type of business. Some aspects to consider. Buying in bulk or buying as you need. Initially, you may not have adequate capital to buy all the fabric that you may need for 1 month. It could be mostly cheaper. However, if you consider buying it weekly, then you may be able to start and use the profits that you've made to buy some additional fabric. You can also negotiate cumulative discounts from suppliers. This means, as you buy again, the value of your previous purchases are also taken into account. Thus, you could reach a threshold to qualify for higher discount. You can register as a trader. Often suppliers give greater discount to registered traders. Consider buying cut-offs or what could be waste from large manufacturers. The smaller sizes may suit your business. Use recycled materials. For example, make bags from old billboard displays. Support community or social innovation projects. Perhaps they can provide handmade labels at a reduced cost. You are also doing good that way and add something unique to your product. As these costs are mostly directly related to your products, you have to consider the expected use and lifespan of the product. In this example, it will influence the quality of fabric. Must it be imported satin versus the functionality of strong nylon when it's carrying grocery shopping? So strength could be important. In conclusion, managing costs has a few fundamentals to always consider. Do your research, know your prices, know your market, know your materials that you require. Look for alternative ways of obtaining product or financing product. What is essential versus nice to have? Go with your business logic and not always with your heart, but don't lose the spirit and the passion for your product. Limit your fixed costs and convert to variable where possible. Negotiate well. This is an essential business skill. Always consider quality versus functionality versus price. Cheap is not always best, but the most expensive is not always necessary. Lastly, adapt to your business's life cycle. What was relevant in the startup phase may no longer be valid as you expand. For example, once your business is established and you have more cash available, then change from buy as you need to buying in bulk in order to reduce your cost per unit. Thank you for taking time to enhance your knowledge of the basics of finance and managing your costs. I wish you great success in your business ventures. Thank you.